Have you ever wondered how love begins, how it takes root in our hearts and changes our lives forever? Love, that elusive emotion, often starts in the most unexpected ways. It may begin with a simple admiration, a feeling we often refer to as having a crush on someone. A crush, that first spark, the initial fascination that sets our hearts aflutter. Then there's the phenomenon of love at first sight, a sudden, powerful attraction that hits you like a bolt of lightning. It's the moment when you look at someone, maybe for the first time, and something within you just clicks. It's as if the universe conspired to bring you two together. And in that instant, you just know. And oh, the exhilaration of falling for someone. It's a plunge into the unknown, a thrilling freefall that leaves you breathless. You're head over heels in love, caught in a whirlwind of emotions, swept up in a current stronger than yourself. It's a glorious, terrifying, intoxicating feeling that leaves you wanting more. Being in love often means wearing your heart on your sleeve. It's about being open, vulnerable, and brave enough to show your feelings. It's about taking a risk, about daring to reveal your heart and hoping that it will be cherished in return. Then, of course, there's infatuation. Infatuation is intense, passionate, all-consuming. It's a wildfire that burns bright and hot, a force so compelling that it can sweep you off your feet. It's a potent mix of desire and fascination that can make the world seem brighter, more vivid, more alive. And so it begins, this dance of love. There are stolen glances, the thrill of the chase, the tension and excitement of playing hard to get. It's a game, a flirtation, a delicate balancing act that sets the stage for what's to come. It's the start of something new, something beautiful, something profound. And just like that, with stolen glances and playing hard to get, a new love story begins. So love has blossomed. What comes next? After the first spark of attraction, love begins to grow and evolve. This is a time filled with excitement, anticipation, and sometimes a fair bit of nervousness as well. Imagine going on a blind date. The thrill of meeting someone new, the anticipation of what they might be like, the hope that this could be the one. The butterflies in your stomach are fluttering wildly, yet you try to keep your cool. This is the stage where we often hear the phrase, "love is in the air." It's a sense of excitement and possibility, a feeling that something special is happening. As time passes, you may find that love blossoms. This idiom beautifully captures how love can grow and develop, just like a flower blooming. You're getting to know each other better, understanding each other's quirks and idiosyncrasies, and finding more and more reasons to fall head over heels in love. Ever felt like you and your partner were a match made in heaven? This is the feeling that you complement each other perfectly, that you're two pieces of a puzzle that fit together seamlessly. It's a wonderful feeling, one that often comes with the realization that you're going steady. Going steady, now there's an old-fashioned term that still holds a lot of charm. It means you're committed to each other, exclusive, a pair of lovebirds singing their sweet song to the world. Lovebirds are known for their strong monogamous pair bonds. They sit together, preen each other, and share a close connection. In love, being called lovebirds is a testament to the bond you share. But remember, love is not always about stolen glances and being swept off your feet. It's also about patience, understanding, and the willingness to work through the rough patches. Love is a journey filled with highs and lows, and it's the courage to weather these storms that truly defines a strong relationship. And as love grows, it's time to take the plunge. This phrase might conjure up images of jumping off a high cliff into the unknown, but in love, it signifies a willingness to take a risk, to commit to each other more deeply, and to take the next big step. But more on that later. What happens when you're ready to pop the question? It's a question that carries the weight of 1,000 butterflies fluttering in your stomach. It's the culmination of a fairy tale romance, the moment when you found your perfect match and decided to tie the knot. In this grand narrative of love, each character plays a pivotal role. The bride, the center of attention, radiant and resplendent, holding the gaze of every onlooker. The groom, standing tall and proud, his eyes gleaming with a mix of nervousness and excitement. Then we have the bridesmaids and the best man. The bridesmaids, the bride's closest confidants, are there to offer a supportive shoulder, a comforting voice, and a helping hand. The best man, the groom's right-hand man, is there to assure, to jest, and to raise a toast to the couple's future. And so the stage is set, the vows are exchanged, the the confetti showers down, and the knot is tied. But the journey doesn't end with the wedding bells. In fact, it's just the beginning. It's the start of a new chapter, where two individuals become a team, ready to face life's challenges and joys together. Moving in together is the first step in this new chapter. It's a time of discovery and adjustment. It's about finding that perfect balance between personal space and shared experiences. It's about embracing the quirks and habits of your partner and realizing that it's these little things that make your bond stronger. Then comes the process of settling down. It's about creating a home, not just a house. It's about establishing routines, traditions, and making memories. It's about laying the foundation of a life that is to be shared, a life that is to be cherished. And with the slip of a ring on her finger, two soulmates begin their journey together. They embark on a voyage of love, companionship, and a shared dream. This journey may have its ups and downs, but with love as their guiding light, they are ready to weather any storm. After all, they are not just a couple. They are soulmates, bound by an unspoken promise of love, respect, and togetherness. But what happens when the honeymoon phase is over and reality sets in? When the initial blush of love fades, the real work begins. Relationships are not always a fairy tale romance. They require effort, patience, and a good deal of understanding. A common challenge that couples often face is not seeing eye to eye on everything. Differences in opinions, perspectives, or lifestyles can lead to frequent disagreements. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. But remember, it's okay to have different views. What's important is learning to bridge those gaps and find a common ground. Making up after fights is another hurdle. It's not about who's right or wrong, but about understanding each other's feelings and perspectives. It's about wearing one's heart on one's sleeve and saying, "I'm sorry," even when pride gets in the way. The temptation to play around can also pose a significant challenge. The grass often seems greener on the other side, but it's vital to remember that every garden requires attention and care. Playing around or having a bit on the side may seem exciting, but it's a road that often leads to heartbreak. Infidelity is, unfortunately, a reality in many relationships. It's not just about being physically unfaithful. Emotional infidelity can be equally damaging. Committing adultery or being a love rat isn't just about breaking a promise. It's about breaking a heart. It's about shattering trust, often beyond repair. Sometimes couples find themselves at a crossroads, unsure of which direction to take. They may be going through a rough patch, trying to weather the storm. They may drift apart, their love slowly eroding like a sandcastle against a rising tide. Even the strongest love can be tested, and sometimes things don't work out as planned. But remember, it's not the end of the world. Just as a phoenix rises from its ashes, love too can find a way to heal, to grow, and to begin anew. What happens when love fades and heartbreak takes its place? Sometimes, despite the fairy tale romance, the sweeping off one's feet, the stolen glances, and the feeling of being head over heels in love, things start to change. When lovebirds stop singing the same tune, when they no longer see eye to eye, it's a stark reminder that love is not always a bed of roses. You find yourself in a relationship where you have nothing in common with the person you once thought was your perfect match. You feel as if you're living with a stranger, and the once blossoming love seems to be wilting. It's a painful reality that many face, but it's part of the journey of love and life. And then comes the rough patch. It feels like a tempest, a storm you need to weather together. But the storm is relentless, and it seems to be tearing you apart instead of bringing you closer. The disagreements, the fights, the cold silences, they all become a part of your routine. You try to work through it, but it seems like a mountain too high to climb. You find yourself at a crossroads, a decision to be made. Do you hold on, hoping the storm will pass? Or do you let go, acknowledging that sometimes love just isn't enough? It's a tough decision, one that requires immense courage and strength. Some couples choose to drift apart, slowly and painfully, while others decide to go their separate ways, abruptly and decisively. And then there are those who take the final leap, divorce. It's a word that holds a lot of weight, a lot of pain, but sometimes it's the only way forward. Heartbreak is painful, it's messy, it's chaotic, but it's also a part of life. And it's okay to feel the pain, to grieve the loss of a love that once was. But remember, it's not the end. It's a part of your journey, a chapter in your book of life. And sometimes the end of one chapter is the beginning of another. What does it mean to start a new life after heartbreak? It's a question we often ask ourselves after we've been through a rough patch, weathered the storm, and found ourselves at a crossroads. But you see, heartbreak is not the end. It's a chance to grow, to learn, and to become stronger. When love ends, it feels like we've been swept off our feet, and not in the good way. We're left picking up the pieces, trying to find our footing again. But this is where the healing starts. It's a time of introspection, of finding oneself again amidst the rubble of a love that once was. Healing is not a linear process. Some days it feels like we're moving forward. Other days it feels like we're drifting apart from the person we once were. But it's crucial to remember that it's okay to take our time. It's okay to not have all the answers. It's okay to be a work in progress. Starting over doesn't mean forgetting the past. It means taking the lessons we've learned, the experiences we've had, and using them to become better, to become more. It means learning to wear our hearts on our sleeves again, to be open to the possibility of a new love, of stolen glances and love at first sight. It's about finding the strength to take the plunge once more, to go on a blind date, to allow ourselves to fall for someone again. It's about believing that love is still in the air, that love can blossom once more, that we can be lovebirds again. Starting over is about hope. It's about the hope that we can find a match made in heaven, that we can have a fairy tale romance, that we can be a perfect match for someone. It's about the hope that we can tie the knot, walk down the aisle, and start a new life. Why? Because in the end, love is a journey, not a destination. So, what have we learned about love and heartbreak today? We've been on quite an emotional journey, haven't we? We began with that first spark, the exhilarating rush of having a crush on someone or experiencing love at first sight. We've seen how easy it is to fall for someone, to be so head over heels in love that it feels like being swept off your feet. We've watched as stolen glances turned into something more, even when playing hard to get was part of the game. We've experienced the whirlwind of a blind date and the magic that occurs when love is in the air and love blossoms. We've seen matches made in heaven, lovebirds going steady, and those brave enough to take the plunge and pop the question. We've reveled in fairy tale romances, perfect matches, and the joy of seeing someone slip a ring on their partner's finger. Yet not all love stories follow this path. We've explored the challenges that can arise, like not seeing eye to eye. We've looked at how love can weather the storm, even when going through a rough patch, and how couples can work through it, even when they're at a crossroads. We've also faced the harsh reality of love's end, the pain of drifting apart, the heartache of going separate ways, and the pain of divorce. But we've also seen that there's life after love. We've seen how one can start a new life, even after a heartbreak. In the end, love and heartbreak are both part of the human experience. They're the highs and lows, the joys and the sorrows, the beginnings and the endings. They're what make us who we are, what teach us about ourselves and others, and what makes each love story unique. And remember, every love story is unique, just like you. The theme of this video has been the language of love and heartbreak, and you've seen the words and expressions we use to describe the different stages. It's one of the many themes we've discussed in our Chatterbox Zoom workshops. In each workshop, we explore vocabulary and idiomatic language on various topics, and learners have the opportunity to practice their English by chatting to other participants. The workshops are rewarding and fun, so why not come and join us? You'll find the link in the description. We promise you that they are the very best way to improve your English fluency. You'll love them. We hope to see you there.